Has Died is an improvised storytelling game set at a will arbitration, where players try to convince an estate keeper that they are the most deserving of a dead person's fortune. The game begins by designating an estate keeper. This person will be the game master of the event. They set the tone of the game, usher everyone else through the experience, and then ultimately choosing how they want to divvy up the fortune. Everyone else gets a hand of 3 different kinds of cards: 1 identity, 1 relationship, and 2 backstory cards. The identity serves as your main characteristic, your profession, a species at times, whatever is the core of your character. The relationship card tells you how you knew the deceased, and backstory cards are various items in your possession, character quirks, life events, things that have to be incorporated into your character. Before the game begins, the estate keeper sets up who died, how they died, and what they left behind. They can draw an identity card to help spur inspiration for this. Then we get to the opening statements, round 1. Players use all 4 cards that they were dealt at the beginning of the game to create the basis of their character and make their initial argument for why they should get the fortune. You can't hide or lie about your cards. They're all going to be face up on the table. What we generally encourage is that you hold them in your hand until you incorporate them into the story, and then turn them around on the table so that everyone can get a good look at what you are using. Round 2 is the interrogation round, where everyone gets another backstory card, and the estate keeper asks 1 direct question of every player. This backstory card has to be incorporated into the answer, although it can be as tangential as you need it to be. Round 3 is the recess round, where no new backstory cards are drawn, and everyone asks each other questions over lunch. You get to ask 1 question of 1 other player at the table. Not everyone has to be asked a question. You can decide to all gang up on 1 person or spread the love equally. Finally, round 4 is the final statements, where everyone draws another backstory card and you make your last effort to convince the estate keeper that you should be the winner of the fortune. After everyone has said their piece, the estate keeper gets to award the fortune. Now, it doesn't have to go to the most apt debater at the table, but the estate keeper must be able to come up with an in-game reason for why the person has earned the fortune. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is objection cards, which are interrupts that the estate keeper gets to award for players being particularly funny or clever or endearing or logical, anything that they think deserves a +1 to creativity. They can slide over an objection card face down to that person. Then they can use the objection card to interrupt someone else at any time during the game. And the way you do that is by saying objection and reading the sentence that's on the card, which in this case is, "You owe the deceased $10. That immediately becomes true about the player it was played upon, and they must contend with it. Some objection cards have little blue text on them that requires another card to be drawn. For example, here you have to draw an identity for the imaginary friend that was stolen. A lot of our rules are flexible and open to interpretation. Strategies can and should vary widely, where you can choose to bolster yourself up or knock down your enemies or attack the estate keeper with a machete. Anything can happen. Time limits and banter in between rounds are completely up to the jurisdiction of the estate keeper. And the estate keeper can also choose to delve into a character themselves if they'd like. In terms of story limitations, our overall policy is the ever-old improv rule of yes and. However, we do recommend that you do not create relationships between yourself and the deceased that don't exist on the cards, and that you don't do that with the other players at the table, because then it becomes very incestuous and that's not as fun as you think it is. We hope you enjoy playing and arguing over a dead person's stuff with your friends. For more information, visit us at someonehasdiedgame.com and all of our social medias, which I'm going to force myself to edit here. Done please.